Marvin and Rose are one of the most iconic couples in SML. They have been around for years, but something that I find sad is that their relationship is basically a timeline of how something can start sweet and slowly turn toxic. Back in the day, they weren't even called Marvin and Rose. They were Mario and Rosalina as plush characters, but because of copyright issues, SML had to change their appearance and their names to Marvin and Rose. Mario was genuinely depressed after Peach rejected him for good because she discovered he was bald. He wanted love, he wanted a fresh start, and he was in a low place emotionally. That's when Rosalina showed up in Mario's new girlfriend. Black Yoshi tries setting Mario up with other girlfriends, and it's a disaster, until Rosalina appears. She's a little odd, very emotional, and she cries over things like the stars, but she's sweet. Mario actually tries to understand her. He takes her stargazing, he makes an effort, and by the end, it really feels like she came into his life at the right moment. Then Mario's Valentine's Day problem proves why Rosalina was better for him than Peach ever was. Mario plans a big Valentine's Day for Rosalina with gifts and dinner, and you can tell he wants to make her happy, but Peach suddenly comes back and tries to steal him again. Mario makes a bad decision at first. He hides Rosalina in a closet and even gives Peach the gifts meant for Rosalina. That's an early crack in trust, and it's important to admit that, but the episode makes the point clear. Peach still only cares about shallow things. She hates the gifts, hates the dinner, and treats Mario like garbage. Rosalina, on the other hand, appreciates the effort and actually enjoys being with him. Mario finally realizes his mistake, kicks Peach out, and apologizes to Rosalina, basically choosing real love over his old toxic obsession with Peach. At that time, their relationship felt loyal, warm, and genuine. For a while, it stayed that way. They cared about each other, and when Jeffy entered their lives and they adopted him, it almost felt like a real family. Dysfunctional, yes, but still a family. They even got married later on, and moments like Mario's new hat show Rosalina still loving Mario no matter what, even when everything is chaotic. But I think Jeffy became a constant source of tension, and Marvin slowly changed. Over time he became angrier, more bitter, more jealous, and less patient. And Rose, instead of being a bridge between them, usually became Jeffy's stronger defender, so their marriage fell into the same loop over and over. Jeffy causes chaos, Marvin explodes, Rose defends Jeffy, Marvin feels betrayed, and it turns into shouting and insults. When you repeat that cycle for years, love doesn't die instantly, it wears down. And that's how we get to modern Marvin and Rose, where they don't even feel like the same couple anymore. Nowadays, Rose often gets written like an annoying wife stereotype, and Marvin often gets written like a bitter, uncaring husband. And worst of all, both of them start crossing lines that earlier versions of them probably never would. For Marvin, one clear example is how the Grinch stole Thanksgiving, where he cheats on Rose with Susan Smith. And beyond that, episodes like Jeffy's new stepmom show how quickly their arguments can push Marvin into reckless replacement behavior, like going to a strip club and bringing a stripper home before Rose returns. For Rose, it's more about weak boundaries that feed insecurity and resentment. In Jeffy's Easter egg, she agrees to go on a date with a chicken character for eggs, and the episode strongly implies it went beyond an innocent dinner and that she cheated on Marvin with the chicken. In episodes like Shrek's Coma and Jeffy's Brain, she reacts with attraction to someone else in a way that makes Marvin's jealousy feel more understandable, even if Marvin handles it badly. So now their relationship doesn't feel like a loving marriage with problems. It feels like two people who are tired, distrustful, and barely holding it together, like a divorce waiting to happen. The mute button is a perfect snapshot of their marriage now. Marvin is so fed up with Jeffy and Rose that he literally mutes Rose and Jeffy just to feel peace. It's funny, but it also shows how broken things are, because instead of talking or fixing anything, Marvin's instinct is to shut his own family out completely, and he barely cares when Rose is put in danger. And honestly, that's why it works as a story people recognize, because in real life, a lot of relationships start sweet and slowly fall apart, not from one big moment, but from unspoken problems that never get solved. Maybe Rose feels unheard, unappreciated, and is tired because Marvin is always angry and reactive. Maybe Marvin feels trapped and unfulfilled because his life turned into stress and chaos, and because they keep making up without fixing anything, the same problems come back louder every time. So when you look at Marvin and Rose's full timeline, it's kind of sad. They started as a couple built on genuine love. Rosalina came when Mario needed someone real, and she proved she cared for him in a way Peach never did. They built a home, they raised Jeffy, and they even got married, but now their relationship has been turned into something toxic. So the question now is, if the early versions of them was real love and the modern version of them is constant conflict and toxicity, can it ever be fixed? Maybe. But only if they ever stop repeating the same cycle and actually start acting like partners again. Follow me, you want to watch more funny videos like this one.